afternoon, hello, and welcome to the OMNI Coalition News Show, aka TOCNS. Pardon me. This show is an amalgam of strange, weird, bizarre, off the wall, and otherwise things you don't normally see anymore from most news sources these days. During a time of political overabundance and divisiveness, we present you with more unifying topics to discuss, for the most part. For links to those articles, the music done by Carrera, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am Alexander, and today I am joined by...
Brandon Fraser, aka Rumba Sir,
aka Doom Guy. And I see we have a bee in the live studio audience. Oh god, a bee!
we have a bee.
A bee on the loose.
I'll just tell my buddy about it and throw a bee, and just like put a bee on his shoulder and scare him. I know, no, my friend. Well, actually, he's not even my friend anymore because he turned into a douche canoe. But shit, you not. He saw a bee and he started freaking out.
Bro, like, if you ever seen that one Malcolm in the Middle scene where the bee is chasing after Hal, that's literally happened to me. Like, not to the point where it's, like, ramming itself against my window and having a war, but there was one time I literally, like, looked over and there was a bee just flying right there, and I just rolled my window up. I'm like, no, you don't. Like, you know, you ain't coming in here. So... Anyway, let's get started with the news, shall we? On CBS 8, city releases millions of gallons of potential drinking water into the ocean. At a time when we're being asked to conserve water, the city of San Diego released nearly 250 million gallons of water from Hodges Reservoir into the ocean.
Oh my, that's stupid.
I mean, who's using it? Literally nobody.
Dude, but we need the water. Like, we've been in a drought for 30 years.
Like, why would they dump it in, despite knowing that Cali needs the water?
And see,
no, you're definitely right.
See, here's the other thing. Like, right here, it goes on to say, at a time when we're being asked to conserve water, the city of San Diego released nearly 250 million gallons of water out of the Hodges Reservoir. It's not pouring into storage areas where it can be used later. Instead, it's heading into the San Diego River, where it will be gone for good. The city says past rainfall and a state mandate made the release necessary, citing safety reasons. The lake has been closed since the spring, when repairs started to the 104-year-old dam to fix cracks and defects. But here's one thing: in order to make those repairs, the water level had to be lowered to 275 feet. So earlier this year, the reservoir level was lowered by approximately 18 feet. When that happened, the city said, quote, no water was wasted in the process of lowering the water level, end quote. Okay, so, I mean...
I don't think that's true.
Well, it sounds like they had an overabundance, and the dam was about to peak over, so, but, I mean, I don't know, like, they couldn't have figured out a way to save it somewhere, you know? Like, they had to dump it.
Another reservoir. But problem solved, another reservoir, boom, right there.
Yeah.
Easy. It's an easy solution.
That makes sense.
That's ridiculous. And thank you to Muffin for finding that, by the way. Muffin found this.
Like, we have...
Muffin?
Huh?
I'm just congratulating Muffin.
I'm just saying thank you to Muffin.
Yeah, you gotta congratulate someone sometimes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, regarding reservoirs, there's a handful where I'm at. There's a handful of them in Pennsylvania.
I mean, like...
Pennsylvania is not stupid enough to just completely remove all of the water just because even though if it overflows, they could just get another one. It's like, it's not that hard. Like, all they gotta do is dig a giant hole.
Yo,
Huh?
Who heard of the, Elon Musk is doing another thing. He's trying to increase Canadian wages, I heard.
I haven't heard anything about that, but I think we will be talking about him today.
But just a quick, the reason why this is going to be bad, and why if we had Elon Musk increasing our wages, is that prices all go up. And if you already know Canada's problem right now, is that we are not good in cash right now. Because house prices increased, gas prices increased. Canada's turning into a bit of a shit show right now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, a lot of countries are falling apart.
Yep. Anyway, here from Rebel News, Wilfrid Laurier, University plans to decenter whiteness as part of the new diversity plan for campus. What? Like, so... It says here, an email sent to students detailed Laurier's comprehensive action plan to decrease whiteness on campus and decolonize the Ontario post-secondary school. What?
That's kind of racist.
Bruh, dude,
that's kind of racist.
Yeah. That's very racist.
That's whitest.
Yeah. It says, I believe this is an excerpt from the email, Laurier needs to center decolonization and equity if it is going to be successful in its desire to create an inclusive community, one of the key elements of the university-wide strategic plan. Equity and decolonization must be central to the university's mission. We must move on from our tendency towards superficial, performative, and tick-box approaches to equity. It is imperative that we decenter structures and cultures of colonization and whiteness if the university is to realize its ambitions. Wow. Oh, and here, the president of Wilfrid Laurier University has not yet decolonized herself from her $300,000 per year job.
I wouldn't. Making $300,000 a year. Fuck that. I'm not backing out of that.
Oh my god. Bruh, that is gold right there. Like, she's calling for removing white people, yet she herself is white, and she just so happens to be the president. Like, oh, I don't mean myself. I'm fine. Like, yeah, of course, Karen.
Like, yeah.
Wow. That. Oh, I needed that laugh. Oh, that was great. Yeah. Anyway. Moving on up forward from Rebel News, Planned Parenthood Executive Director claims children are sexual beings. What?
What the fuck?
I know, right?
Where the hell are these idiots getting that? What the fuck?
A Planned Parenthood Executive Director claims that children are, quote, sexual beings, end quote, and encourage the promotion of pornography, which he calls useful. What the fuck?
Okay, Beto.
Okay, you know what?
Execute him.
This is...
All right, public execution. with a knife. We're gonna use a knife.
Let's not call out for acts of violence here. That's actually gonna get us deplatformed. So.
No. Okay, no.
We'll just throw it. We'll just egg him.
Yeah. Well, no. Let's ode him.
We'll just egg the shit out of him.
just ode him. Just throw oats on him.
Get a shipment of Quaker oats. We make them Quaker oats. Wait for them to cool. Then we just throw them at them.
Yep.
We'll do some surgery on them and.
No, that's another act of violence.
We can't.
We can't do anything that will actually cause any physical harm. So
let's do something tame. We gotta do something tame.
Anyway, it continues on here. Bill Taverner, an advocate for sex education and executive director of Planned Parenthood Center for Sex Education, has advocated for comprehensive sex education all the way from kindergarten through grade 12, including porn literacy, Fox News reported Friday. Oh, God. Yeah. We have in our society, this is a quote, we have in our society an assumption of asexuality of people with intellectual disabilities. It's a myth that's perpetuated, and really we are all sexual beings from birth until death, end quote, said Taverner in 2015. 7 years ago, what the fuck? And he's still around, why? Bruh.
Damn.
And he's allowed to be around? Wow,
he's allowed to be around.
And he's allowed to exist in government?
Someone's got to think for a second. Like,
McDonald's. They
what
put burgers at McDonald's.
This is ridiculous.
Just to be dicks.
We really are in clown world. Like, seriously.
Like someone must, in like his government office, been like, "What? Why are we? No, we can't. That's illegal." Like, and literally everywhere else says, "No, you shouldn't be doing this," and you're fine. Like, where in the world of like, how long have you been on Twitter for?
Ridiculous, dude. Absolutely monstrous. Like, this guy. like, needs to at least be removed from the ability to even ever have a job again. Like, you know, put him in jail or something. Leave him to rot. Like, something needs to happen. So, anyway, let's move on. More from Rebel News. Zelensky prepares to ban Ukrainian Orthodox Church institutions with affiliation to Moscow. That's not nice. I know you guys are warring, but don't start stamping on religions.
Come on. Paddington, calm down.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced on Friday that the Ukrainian government intends to ban a major sect of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church accused of having ties to the Patriarchate of Russia. Zelensky claims that the religious institution has undermined support for Ukraine in its war against Russia, claiming that the move is necessary to prevent Russia from being able to weaken Ukraine from within, Reuters reported. Well, if you stomp it down, all you're going to do is force them to go underground, and then you have no idea where they're going, what they're saying, what they're talking about. Dude, just let people be free, you know, monitor them if need be. You know, I'm not an advocate for that, but if you really are, and you do have some decent grounds there, but don't stomp out their religion. You know, that's just the wrong way to go, Zelensky. I'm not even a world leader, and I know this.
Like, come on, Paddington, calm yourself, man. Just let them do their thing.
That kind of reminds me of a story I was reading on the news. So apparently, someone in Florida, I think, this man was powering his home with a nuclear, like an old nuclear warhead.
What?
Props for him. Yeah, no, and it actually worked. He managed to not be able. He didn't have to pay his electric bills. So that was actually a smart move. In fact,
Florida, man,
they
powers
arrested
home. wait, a Powers house with a nuke? Oh my god! Holy shit, this is real! Wait, maybe it's a debunked? Like, originated satire.
No, he found,
okay.
But
yeah.
Still, if that was true, that'd been like, why would you arrest a man for that?
Well, Snopes, let's see here. This isn't a real CNN headline of PolitiFact, Earth. If you can find, like, because I don't know how viable these news sources are. If you can find a story, like if you can find a link for me, that'd be great.
Well, I mean, I did find you a link, but not the link to what I just told you.
All right, let's see here. Where is it? Oh, okay. Let's see here.
It's in news.
CBC. Come on, load it
up.
up.
Here in Canada. Yeah, this is about Canada and Alberta, mostly because of what's happening in Alberta.
Okay, well, we'll get to this later if you do want to talk about it. I already have a lineup set up, so...
don't worry, I'm always ready to talk about it.
Yep.
Why I don't like it.
Yep, we'll definitely talk about it, so... Anyway... More from Rebel News. Go woke, go broke. Channel 10 cancels Christmas. Great. Christmas has been canceled at Channel 10 as low ratings and staff resignations rock the network. Station owner Paramount announced that staff Christmas party was canceled as management declared there was nothing to celebrate, according to sources quoted in the Daily Mail. That's depressing. It's the second year in a row that 10 has ended the year without a Christmas party after last year's Christmas bash was canceled due to COVID restrictions. Anonymous staff members claimed the network was lacking direction and morale and felt like a sinking ship as big-name hosts including Peter Helliar, Lisa Wilkinson, and Carrie Bickmore quit their primetime roles on the project. So that's not what I thought it was. So it's just like the Christmas party for the employees, and that's a bummer. But I mean, I never really had any Christmas parties in any of the jobs I've ever had, so you know. Be happy that you experienced it. Not many people do. Anyway, more from Rebel News. New Zealand government seeks guardianship of baby after parents refuse vax blood transfusion. Yep, we're in this world now. Well, we've been here for a while. I remember something like this happened out in Michigan or something back in 2020, actually. The New Zealand government is demanding temporary guardianship of the 4-month-old so they can authorize the use of vaccinated blood for the boy who needs heart surgery. This is despite the fact that the boy's parents have found unvaccinated people willing to donate blood to their child. Wow. So not only like are they forcing it upon them to get their kid vaxxed one way or another, but they're not even allowing non-vaxxed blood to be dude, whatever happened to leave the parents up to the decisions of their children? You know? Like, as I said, back in 2020 or 2021, like, I think it was Michigan somewhere, but, like, somewhere in that generalized area, there's this woman who refused to get vaccinated, so the state came in and took her child away. She was like, 6, 7 years old, something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while. But, yeah, no, countries all around the world are doing this shit. They're taking children from their parents. Like...
If they don't vaccinate?
Yeah, if they don't vaccinate, if the parents don't want to vaccinate the kids, or if they don't want to vaccinate themselves, they take the children away for one of two reasons, respectively. If they don't want to vaccinate the kids, then they're being unfit parents, and therefore the state has authority to take their kids away or whatever. And number two, if they refuse to vaccinate themselves, somehow they are a health emergency for the vaccinated kid. Which, if the vaccine works, then why would you be worried about unvaccinated people? Like, isn't that the point?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the point. I don't know, though. I'm not a scientist.
I'm not a scientist either, But, what is science anymore these days?
Yeah, I can understand if this was, I don't know, maybe earlier in the year, when, new vaccines were kind of a thing, maybe I could kind of understand it because, my dad was kind of paranoid when he first heard about the coronavirus vaccine. He was kind of he didn't want to get it because, it was a new thing. He wasn't sure if it was going to protect anyone. But, that made sense because, it was a new thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know when this takes place, and I don't know what virus this is. So without that kind of context, I can't tell if anyone's justified or not.
I don't know. Anyway, let's move on up before we get too far into that. We probably already will get this show deplatformed, at least this episode, just by talking about that. Anyway, more from Rebel News. Elon Musk revealed plan to increase user participation. Twitter will show view counts for each tweet. This is interesting. Pardon me. Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, is optimistic about the platform's future as a medium for free speech and announced his plans to encourage user participation on Twitter. Moving forward, Twitter will show a view count for every tweet, just as it does on videos. Musk made his remarks in a series of tweets stating, quote, pardon me, I meet so many people who read Twitter every day but almost never tweet. If I may beg your indulgence, please add your voice to the public dialogue, end quote. So he's calling for more activity. In response to a user who said no one read the tweets he posted, Musk replied, have you clicked on your old tweet analytics, the little bar graph? Those who read tweets outnumber those who reply, retweet, like tweets by over 1,000%, he said. That's interesting. So now he's going to bring to the forefront the stats, some of them, about every tweet.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then let's see here, our last one here from Rebel News. Trudeau government won't release Hawaii records until 2027. What a surprise. And we all know Hawaii, or Huawei, or whatever, it's a major tech company in China. So.
Yeah, I've heard something about, how one of the provinces in, Canada, I heard there was some, funding trading going on over there, but, again, I haven't really digged into that one either. But that's... So
there's
I guess
a lot of stuff
that's
going on. There's a lot of stuff happening involving China's, tentacles influencing everything all across the world. Canada, the United States, Central and South America, Europe,
Yeah.
It's crazy. So...
Yeah.
But anyway, it says here, Huawei, the Chinese telecom giant, has been incredibly accused of being a covert high-tech spy apparatus of the Chinese state. Not surprising. Let's see here. Approximately 60,000 pages of relevant records have been located, all of which have been imported and indexed into our case management software. We also have provided the requester with an interim response. The information about the extreme ATIP delay was uncovered in a response to an order paper question asked in October by Conservative MP Robert Kitchen. Kitchen asked the government to produce a list of access information findings that have sought the request in excess of 5 years. So, yeah, this is crazy. So, not surprising though. That his government is not going to release any involvement they have with the CCP. Although, as we were just saying, there's Chinese police officers enforcing Chinese laws on Canadian soil. For it's absolutely insane. Like
that's I'm thinking about that, and even if I were like, I don't think that's how it's gonna work ever. And like, even if you manage to convince some people, I feel like no, that doesn't. I'm so confused on that. Like, even if I were to read that myself, just to double check, I would not understand a thing about that, because why would you enforce Chinese law on Canada soil, even though that it's... I'm actually struggling to think about why right now.
Well, I don't think it's like completely like they enforce it on every citizen, but in the very least, they are there for all of the Chinese nationalists who are going there for jobs, for education, for one reason or another. There's a lot of Chinese nationalists all over the world, including Canada. And like what I'm saying right now is not only Canada. As I said, it's Central South America. There's a lot of Chinese involvement in there. There's a lot of Chinese shady dealings happening in Europe. I have no idea if they're involved in anything with Africa or not. But, as far as with Canada and Central and South America, they're there for a lot of the Chinese workers. Because they have a lot of these projects, like kind of what we do, as well, we're just as we're not any better than China in this regard, what we do, but they go into these countries and they're like, hey, we see you need a huge infrastructure thing built, we'll do it, and then you can be indebted to our nation, maybe vote for our side in the UN or something, like that. We do that all the time. China does it all the time, and now they're just now that I think about it, the only reason why all of this is a problem is because they're now coming into areas where we once were. Now we're fighting some kind of quasi proxy corporate espionage war type thing with them. If I'm making any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I can understand that.
Anyway, let's move on up here. From Audio Central, office worker complains that he gets paid $128,000 a year to do nothing. What? Why is that a problem?
That would be the greatest job of all time.
Dude, I would love that job so I can do this and have the money to afford all the stuff I need to do. It's free money, dude. What the hell? It says here, an Irish financial manager for Ireland's National Railway Network claims that he gets paid almost $130,000 or 108,000 euros a year to eat lunch and read newspapers all day. Getting paid to essentially do nothing doesn't sound like something most people would complain about, but for Dermot Alastair Mills, an employee at Irish Rail, it's discrimination. The financial manager claims that after turning a whistleblower about the company's accounting in 2014, he was gradually relieved of virtually all of his duties, to the point where he now spends most of his days eating lunch and reading newspapers. Despite all this, he still cashes his regular paycheck every month. Well...
okay, I guess that makes sense somewhat.
I mean, I guess, he actually has to be on duty somewhere. So, he probably can't do, stuff like what we're doing right now with these shows on company time. That would get him fired. Wait, if that got him fired, then he can collect unemployment at $130,000 a month, right? $130,000 a year.
I don't know how anything works, but I'm pretty sure that's how it might work. But again, I don't think any of us, especially in this Discord server, live in Ireland. So you can't really say that much unless if you live in Ireland.
Yeah, that'd be interesting though. For further reading, audience, all the links to all these articles are in the underbar. I'm gonna, let them go over to the website, give them the foot traffic. They put in the work for these. I'm just reading these. So we're gonna move on up here. Audio Central, and this kind of bugs me. ATM machine. It's automated teller machine. Machine what? Displays users' bank account balances like arcade machine leaderboards. What? Yeah.
Unironically, I've even seen that, so, but I don't, what's the purpose of that? Now that I think about it.
I guess just to have people make people feel better about themselves if they're like up near the top, or worse if they're down near the bottom. Like, it's all I see is like this is a very fast way to like make like social anarchy, you know, and like then people will know who has more money than them. They can go and kill them, you know, like, you know, this is yeah.
That mistake. That's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
If you reveal here's what I'm gonna say. Let's say I make barely any money. I'm a wanted criminal, and let's say you make $1,000 per day, basically.
Yeah.
It's gonna be obvious what I'm gonna do, and since I already have the skill, and I have the ability to do it without feeling any regret, I would 100% do that. That's the problem. If you do it, you're gonna just let the horrible people do the worst things.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do. I mean, if you look at everything else, and I actually have a meme about this, and I don't know if I can find it right off the bat immediately, but it essentially goes like this. Okay, so if you don't believe in the conspiracy theory that the powers that be are trying to do everything in their power and control to push society towards a complete and total collapse, if that's not what's happening, what do you think they'd be doing differently if that was their plan? Let me know. You know?
That's a pretty good point.
Yeah. See? Like, it's just absolutely nuts. But I'm going to read this really, really quick just to fill people in on what's going on here. If you're the kind of person who likes to show off their wealth, head over to Art Basel Miami Beach. Oh, God. And use their unique ATM to have your own account balance featured on its leaderboard for everyone to see. Really? Okay, so this is, you're inputting yourself into it. So this is not yet a public thing, but like you have to physically go there and input yourself, and then you'll be able to be seen. But that's still stupid. Developed by New York-based art collective Mischief. Okay, yeah, what a good name. In collaboration with Periton Gallery, ATM Leaderboard is an artistic project inspired that, just as its name suggests, displays the cash balances of anyone who uses it like the high scores of a classic arcade game, depending on the size of their bank accounts. It was inspired by the wealth-flaunting trends of modern influencers who use their apparent wealth for fame and social media follows. So, but yeah. Actually,
no, I don't.
Go ahead.
Don't. So they said like how social media influencers do that. That's the worst example to make it, because I'm pretty sure if you're a social media influencer, they're like the worst people to even base it off. And let's say you got one that's not that bad. The problem with it is that social media influencers, when they're loved, they also have a huge hate following, including people who stalk them and want to kill them and do very bad things to them. So I don't think you should be basing it off that. And another thing is that if you're doing it as an artistic style, then what was stopping you doing it in a less way to make people poor people feel bad about themselves?
Mm-hmm. And see, look at this. I have this up on here on my screen. You have this guy in the pink shirt. He has almost $3 million in the bank. Holy shit, you know. And then this lady here with almost 23,000. So, you know, now all you need to know, or all you need to do. Well, first off, it shows here the timestamp. So, you know, right there, and the exact time of the transaction. So all she needs to know is, you know, figure out how to well, I'm not gonna. That's, I think what I was about to say was borderline illegal, but I can figure out a way to track this guy. You know, I already know where he is. I know when he was here. You know, I know what he looks like. You know, and now I just gotta track his movements and find things. That's, and I'm not a smart guy, but you know, if I knew how to get the tools, I can figure out something really nefarious really quick. You know, so
that's the problem with it. Basically. There's no advantage to doing that, basically.
No. Anyway, let's move on here. This is going to be kind of controversial. More from Oddity Central. Controversial video game that lets you play as Jesus Christ is finally available.
No, that sounds like a great game.
Yeah. I Am Jesus Christ, a controversial video game that literally lets you play as the Messiah from his birth to his crucifixion and subsequent resurrection, recently became playable on Steam. Oh, I gotta get this. We wrote about I Am Jesus Christ in 2019, back when it was first announced by indie developer Simula M. The premise of the game was as bold as the title suggested. It put players in the shoes of the Son of God from his birth to his resurrection, allowing them to perform all sorts of biblical miracles, meet Jesus' disciples and other characters, and even battle Satan. It got a lot of people talking, either out of excitement or outrage, but apart from some pre-rendered content and a short teaser, we didn't get anything for the next 3 years. Well, the wait is over, thanks to a playable prologue of I Am Jesus that recently became available on Steam. Oh, wow.
How's that bad? I want to play that game now.
Yeah.
No matter if I don't believe in like God or anything, that sounds like the game I want to play. If I play games like Doom Eternal, then who doesn't want to play a game like that?
Let's see what the prologue looks like.
Many people have attempted to write about the things that have taken place among us. Reports of these things were handed down to us.
Finally, we are meeting the Son of God, who wants to save all humans. But do you know what is waiting for you?
Well, I'm gonna let the viewers watch the rest of that because I'm not sure if I'm gonna get in trouble for playing pro-religious something. You know how YouTube is these days. So.
Yep, you can't even say that one thing. The word that starts with G without YouTube being like, you can't say that word. Now we got to take away all your money.
Yeah, I know, right? I canceled my PayPal, by the way, so they can't come and get me anymore.
But they can shut down your channel.
Yeah, but we have a Rumble and a BitChute anyway, so.
Yeah.
That's what I care about, Google and their censorships. Anyway, more from Oddity Central. A Vietnamese man has a school of wild river fish for a pet. That's interesting. A Vietnamese man
for a pet?
A what?
What is a pet?
A school of wild river fish.
That's way more tame than I thought it was.
Yeah. A Vietnamese man has become famous in his home province of An Giang for taking care of thousands of wild river fish who visit the house every day for food. Moi Phuc's house in Long Kien, Vietnam's Mekong Delta, is a popular attraction for both locals and tourists. People routinely stop by to watch the man feed a school of wild fish that visits them daily. When the 52-year-old man started feeding the fish, it was just a handful of pangasiuses. But over the last 2 years, their number grew at a steady pace, and now thousands of fish stop by his riverside home every day for a bite to eat. The fish are free to come and go as they please, and others have tried attracting them by throwing food into the river, but for some reason, they only stop at Moi Phuc's house. Huh.
That's a lot better than I thought. That's actually impressive. That is like as much. That was as impressive when I heard that that goldfish have great memory.
Huh.
I'm actually interested.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. So, like, the fish remember him, and wow, like they're just like clamoring all over each other to get some food.
Well, I mean, I can't even. It's not a loss for words, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You can't really even blame the fish for anything.
Nope. Anyway, let's move on up here to the mirror. Elf on the Shelf prank hilariously backfires after mom asks teenage sons to take over. See here. If you're a parent, you'll know all about Elf on the Shelf, whether you have it as a tradition in your home or not. Some parents love to make December magical for their kids by getting creative and posing the little elf in all sorts of mischievous situations. Others can't think of anything worse than having to plot out new ways to surprise their children every morning. One parent decided to let their teenagers take over Elf on the Shelf for the day and was very surprised by what she found in the morning. In an Elf on the Shelf prank that went hilariously wrong, the mom took to TikTok to show the aftermath of her teenage boy's creativity. And what was it? Just I see. When Let's see. Highly surprising morning. In the video, viewers can see a huge trail of flour covering the kitchen floor, leading from the fridge to a dog bowl, where the elf on the shelf is laying face first in the food. Huh.
Oh, that is so. Ooh.
Yeah.
That
and they have it making food.
You can't even say that word without YouTube getting upset.
Yeah, I know, right?
Can't say anything without YouTube getting upset.
Yeah. Well, I don't even need to say anything for YouTube to get upset. I just need to show my face. You know, that's it. Boom, right there. 2 of the 5 evils. You know, right there off the spot. Anyway, going on up to UPI or OOPI. South Carolina workers return long-lost photo to family. Workers cleaning out a closet at a South Carolina office were able to reunite a family with a long-lost photo. Chris Dyches, social media manager for Sunbelt Rentals, said workers were cleaning out a closet at the company's headquarters in Fort Mill when they found a photograph showing what appeared to be a military medal ceremony. The photo was signed with the message, "With love, your brother Joe." It became a mystery. We were just like, all right, we've got to figure this out. That was a quote by Dyches, told Queen City News. Dyches posted the photo to LinkedIn, asking other users to share his post in the hopes to find the photo's owner. The post came to attention of Lisa Coyon, whose aunt Kathy Gorton used to work for Sunbelt. Gorton confirmed the man receiving a medal was a photo of her father, Joe Watiski, who flew 62 combat missions in World War II. Nice.
Hey, that's also a good change of pace.
That's really cool.
Always get like, whenever I hear about the news, it's always this bad news thing. But whenever I hear about the good news, I'm way more interested about that because it's just something nice for once, and that's what I like about the good news.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like, I try to, you know... I see that you just changed your profile picture.
You read what it says?
No.
It says Bubba Wallace. It's Bubba Wallace, race car driver.
I don't get it. I'm not American.
I don't get it. I am United Statian, but I'm not a NASCAR enthusiast. But yeah, no, I try to get every interesting looking story, like not just the stuff we need to pay attention to, but like there's a lot more lighthearted stuff, mostly near the end actually, because there's another one here, more from OOPI. Home Depot workers track down owner of dropped $700 in cash. Look at that.
Damn.
Employees at a Home Depot store in Tennessee worked together to track down the owner of $700 cash found in an envelope dropped in an aisle. Adam Atkinson, who worked at the Bellevue store, said he spotted the envelope on the ground in aisle 22. Quote, I did not think anything of it at first. I thought it was empty, but I thought I'd go back to make sure. When I picked it up, I could feel that it had stuff in it. It had money, end quote. Adkisson told WSM-TV. He handed the envelope over to the manager, Alisa Roshi, who waited to see if anyone came in looking for it. Quote, I was the closing manager that night, and I noticed it was still there. I thought to myself, oh goodness, he or she didn't know they even lost it here. It was just sad at that point, end quote, Roshi said. Roshi posted about the envelope on Facebook, omitting certain details so the owner could describe it. Roshi said she soon received a message from a man named Mark who said the envelope belonged to his business partner. He was able to accurately describe the envelope so it could be returned to its owner, Jonathan Clayton. Well, good for you, Mr. Clayton. Like, but
good for you, Clayton, John.
Who's walking around with $700 in an envelope just going into Home Depot? You know?
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, like
it's not wise.
No. But
that's
still,
the worst ways with money.
Yeah. Moving on, more from OOPI. 101-year-old message in a bottle found under toppled Manitoba statue. So,
Hey, it's in Canada.
Yeah.
Canada, eh?
Yep. Workers removing the base of a toppled statue in front of the Manitoba legislature discovered a 101-year-old message in a bottle decrying prohibition. Manitoba Legislative Assembly officials said the workers have been removing the base of a Queen Victoria statue that was toppled by protests in 2021, and they recently found a broken bottle concealed in the base that contained a note. I was wondering if it was part of this whole, violent campaign from the masses to take the statues all down. I mean...
Don't take the statues down.
Yeah, don't take the statues down, but, this is interesting. I'm not going to say it's a good thing that it happened so that they found this bottle. And at the same time, now I'm thinking, I wonder maybe if this is a plant, to make people think, oh, hey, let's start taking statues down and see what relics are down there. And then after they take them down, oh, let's just not put the statues up. That's too much money. And then, all it takes is a little push to move society in a certain direction, mentality-wise. And it's really scary.
It'd be funny if they said that. It'd be like, too much money. And then they never realized. There was a school that I used to go to, I shit you not. They went to rebuild the high school. They shut down the project, tore it down, and then went back in and did it again.
Wow.
They spent triple. Actually, they spent 5 times more than what they should have. They spent initially $21 million just to do the project. They shut it down, so they lost an extra $21 million. And then they redid the project, and at that point, $22 million. But it also, actually, I shouldn't say 5 times. It was triple. They paid triple than what they paid 3 times more than they should have.
Bare minimum 3 times. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the mayor who did that, and I was like, you really let him be the mayor of your town, and he's wasting your money, when he's wasting taxpayer dollars on that.
Yeah.
On a rebuild that wasn't needed. Because I was in the old high school, and it didn't need a rebuild. It was fine.
Yeah.
So you're
They literally made it taller. They made it taller, and that's it. They added the 3rd floor. But also remodeled the entire building.
But what you're saying is that they didn't need to.
They didn't really need to. It wasn't necessary. And now the whole 3rd floor is language arts, and there's in the main high school library is up on the 3rd floor now. And you can see it from the ground. You can see the library.
Dang.
Saying that, so they only
because the whole thing is like glass windows around it.
So what you're saying is that they added 1 new class and then just decided, screw it, we'll just put the rest of the space. The rest of the space would be a library.
They sectioned out the areas. They sectioned them out by floors. Like the downstairs, I believe, was the math and science. The 2nd floor was history. May have been history, I don't know. I think it was either that or language arts. And the 3rd floor was either history or language arts. I can't recall, but I'm most certain that it was history on the 3rd floor, because usually that they have the smallest amount. They have the most minimal amount of rooms.
Well, that's ridiculous. And speaking of closing things down and whatnot, we have from AP News here, Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum is to close in Atlantic City. So
why?
We shall see. Believe it or not, an iconic part of the Atlantic City Boardwalk is closing soon. The Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum said Thursday that they will close on December 31st after more than 26 years of tempting boardwalk strollers with oddities including shrunken heads, mutant animals, and models of unbelievably tall or small humans. The building that houses the museum is an instantly recognizable feature of the boardwalk. It is designed with a giant globe that appears to have smashed into the front of the building and wedged part of the way inside of it, cracking the foundation from top to bottom. The actual foundation of the building remains intact. Quote. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to read this quote because there's not more left to this article. Yeah. Actually, there is a lot more to this article, so I'll read this quote. Quote, we're grateful for the support of our fans and guests whose curiosity, open-mindedness, and enthusiasm have contributed to our success for over 26 years, said Connolly, the museum's manager, in a statement. More quote, we're thankful to have offered a unique form of entertainment and education at the Jersey Shore, and we hope we have helped create wonderful memories for those who have come to visit, end quote. Connolly said the museum is closing because its local franchise is reaching the end of its agreement with Ripley's. Quote, they're going to reimagine the space and come up with something new and fresh for the future, end quote, he said. So, the museum as it is will be gone, and then they're going to bring in something new, which is really stupid because, like, you know, if you want something new, make something new next door or, like, you know, down the road or something. Like, this should be a national landmark, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it was a big part of history.
Yeah.
It was like that museum right there is a big deal. that place is cool.
I've never been there, and I'm really sad that if they go through with this, I never will, and that's really disheartening.
They said, what was it, Atlantic City, right?
Yeah,
Atlantic City Boardwalk in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, okay, I've definitely been there. Okay, yeah. It's pretty nice. That's a pretty cool place.
Man.
They got some cool shit in there.
Man, that's...
maybe you have to go there sometime.
I can't. They're closing at the end of this month. There's no way I can get there. So...
that's a shame.
Yeah, it is. Well...
the books are great.
Yep. Anyway, let's move on up here from the story that B found for us from CBC News. Danielle Smith's rough first impression puts Alberta NDP in likely majority territory, according to a new poll. So tell us about this.
I don't know a big part about that, but the thing is that Danielle Smith, the person who I just said, or what she wants to do is the most dumbest thing ever. Right? So if you were to think about any continent in Canada, the most American sounding place basically would be Alberta. That's a joke I always like to make. But what she's trying to do is, instead of trying to make a better place as Alberta, what she's trying to do is that she's trying to make it into its own country.
That's
not even smart.
So she's trying to secede.
So she's trying to make Alberta, and anyone knows the reason why? Like, the only good reason why you would do that is, ready for it? Since if you know anything, is that the biggest monument in Alberta would probably be the Rocky Mountain, which is just north from us. And what it allows us is that we don't get so is that in Canada is that if a flood were to happen coming from somewhere around anywhere from the north section, we would be fine because of the Rocky Mountains. I think that's the reason why. But if we do it now, what's going to happen is that money's going to be a huge problem. Separation. In fact, I don't even think Alberta isn't known.
You're breaking up.
Huh?
There you
sorry.
are. Are you standing in front of a fan or something?
No.
Huh.
I just don't have my headphones in. Sorry, I'll get them in.
All right. Well, I'm gonna read a couple paragraphs here, and then we'll talk a little bit more, and then we'll wrap it up. It says here, Albertans are in position to deliver a majority government to Rachel Notley's NDP, while the public appears to have deep doubts about the United Conservative Party's new leader, Premier Danielle Smith, according to a new poll commissioned by CBC News. The poll conducted from October 12th to 30th also suggests the UCP could lose some parts of the province in and around Smith's rural base. The survey of 1,200 Albertans by Janet Brown Opinion Research also suggests that Albertans believe the provincial government is on the wrong track on every key issue surveyed, such as creating jobs, managing health care, and reducing crime. The number suggests an uphill battle lies ahead for a party barely done sweeping up the drop balloons from her leadership celebration, with little to more than half a year until Election Day. Dang. Well, good luck for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really hard for Calgary and Toronto, the two major cities of Alberta, because it's not really gonna be easy to get out of this situation, and hopefully, because I think even her own colleagues, which says why would you want to do something so stupid?
Well, if you've ever known about the 80-year cycle, the pendulum theory, and all that stuff, 2023 is when things really get bad, and it's only when things really hit the fan that people actually stand up and get to action. So if we're gonna get any better, we're looking at like a real strong battle, and not just you guys, not just our guys over here, but the entire world. China is going to invade Taiwan. I don't know what's going to happen with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. The jury's still out with that missile that hit Poland. So it's always darkest before dawn, as the saying goes. And, you know, whatever it is that's happening out there in Alberta, you know, you guys are going to be in for a rough time, same as everyone else, but, you know, here's where you guys got to hit the ground running, come out swinging, and, you know, take your country back. So,
Yeah.
we got to do that back down here, too. So,
you know, at least her own colleagues are against her, so that's at least one good thing for us, is that we already have someone literally, and it's her own people who are meant to help her, are saying no. So that's a huge advantage for us, basically.
Yeah, that's good. So, as I said, I wish you luck in that endeavor. So,
yeah, thanks.
Yep. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. Go check out our Rumble, our BitChutes. You know, this episode was probably gonna get canceled. So, anyway, for your dose of actually here, where's my script? I don't have it memorized yet. For your dose of different, odd, and otherwise unknown news, we stream Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is what your time on the East Coast, guys?
5.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 p.m.
5 o'clock your time. Yeah, that's right. On the East. So both extremes. Anyway, for all of you and all of us, I was Xander.
Slayer.
And B. Buzz. Anyway,
B.
yes. Until you catch us on Monday, or if you're interested in history, we have a history show every day at 10 in the morning Pacific time. Until whenever you see us again, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!